From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Butte police are still investigating a Christmas Eve shooting that left one man wounded, and investigators still looking for the suspect.
Residents in Bozeman will be asked if they want to support a bond or mill levy that will help fund more affordable housing projects in Bozeman. I'm Gabby Crevitt, and I'll have that full story coming up.
Well, welcome back here. First here this morning, the Jefferson River is bank high thanks to gorging near Three Forks. The National Weather Service has issued a flood advisory for parts of northern Gallatin County and southern Broadwater County in the area near Three Forks. The river is at or near bank level in places because of ice that could force water onto nearby land. The George Drouillard fishing access site west of Three Forks has ice in part of its parking area near the boat launch. The flood advisory is in effect until 11 this morning. And now that's when we turn to Chet. Chet, you were out there yesterday?
Yeah, in fact, you just saw that video. That is the boat launch there. Normally you can back your car down, unload your boat there. Completely gorged over. Water is into the places where you would park your car after doing that. That's going to linger. As you take a look at the graphic, we have that map in place from the National Weather Service for that area west of the of Three Forks on the Jefferson River. It's in effect until now noon. They've extended it till noon. That doesn't mean the ice is just magically going to go away. So if you're along that area, you do need to be on the lookout. There could be continued lowland flooding possibilities there as well. As far as today, we're starting in the teens, single digits for the most part. A little cooler in West Yellowstone. We've had it as much as 20 below zero in west for air temperature. No report right now. 4 below in Butte with some fog. As far as what the rest of your Tuesday looks like, Holly, I have that forecast in about 10 minutes.
All right, well, in other local headlines, 2 vehicles pulled alongside each other in the parking lot off Walmart in Butte on Christmas Eve, and one of the motorists allegedly fired a gun, leaving one man wounded. MTN's John Amy reports on what law enforcement knows so far.
A Butte man was wounded after being shot in the ankle while in his vehicle in the parking lot of Walmart on the afternoon of Christmas Eve. The victim told police he was in his car at the time and was in the parking lot of Walmart planning to turn south onto Harrison Avenue. That's when another motorist, whom police said the victim knew as an acquaintance, pulled up alongside of him in a white Honda. The victim told investigators that the suspect in the Honda pulled out a gun and fired it through the victim's driver's side door. The victim reported feeling a sharp pain in his ankle before driving away from the scene. The victim drove to the area of Carter Street and then called 911 about 2:45 in the afternoon. The victim took himself to St. James Healthcare, where he was treated for the gunshot wound and questioned by officers. After speaking with the victim, police were still not able to find the suspect in this incident, which remained under investigation. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Now, the Butte Silverbow Undersheriff says investigators plan to speak with the victim again to get more information. No arrest has been made. Well, Bozeman City Commissioners want to ask residents if they're interested in chipping in when it comes to funding more affordable housing projects. MTN's Gabby Crevitt has details.
The Bozeman City Commission says it's time to ask residents to put their money where their mouth is and see if they'd support a bond or mill levy dedicated to funding more affordable housing projects in Bozeman.
How much do you care about making sure that young families and single folks and people just starting out their lives can actually live in the city where they want to live?
That's what the Bozeman City Commission hopes to ask residents by asking if they would support a bond or mill levy to help raise $10 million for affordable housing projects.
What we're envisioning is a fund that allows for the purchase of land, maybe some construction loans, reimbursement of impact fees, and really creative uses of funds.
With more and more people moving to the Bozeman area, commissioners agreed there needs to be a more reliable source of funding for affordable housing.
I believe it's time to put the question to the citizens and to ask them to support this this measure if they really believe in the idea of affordable housing for all.
Cunningham said having a sustained source of funding will allow for more projects similar to what's been accomplished in the last year.
Within the last 12 months, we have allocated over $1.2 million from our community housing fund, and it's will generate over 200 affordable housing units. It'll save over 140 affordable units, and it'll go towards shelters as well.
Now it's up to city staff to present the bond or mill levy language for the ballot and decide the most appropriate time to present the ask to voters. Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Well, there's a new warning about eating fish caught in the Clark Fork and other regional rivers. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks are putting out a new consumption advisory for fish between the Bitterroot, Clark Fork, and Flathead rivers.
The primary species that this covers are northern pike and rainbow trout, because those are the species that we tested for contaminants, specifically dioxins, furans, and coplanar PCBs. But we include all fish in this because of the similar life histories, diets, and ages of other fish in the river. So even though we didn't test brown trout, smallmouth bass, or other fish, they probably contain similar levels of contaminants. So we don't have data to rule them out.
Be wary of eating the fish along parts of the river that were not tested. Latest guidance: eat smaller fish, avoid certain species of fish like northern pike, remove the skin of the fish when you cook, and don't eat the entrails. Well, in this season of giving, we've learned something about the ex-wife of Amazon CEO. Mackenzie Scott's divorce made her one of the richest women in the world. Now we know she is one of the most generous. CBS's Michael George has the story.
At the Borough of Manhattan Community College, the news came quietly, with no fanfare or publicity.
Quite honestly, I thought it was a prank. I thought it was, okay, maybe it's a 50, maybe 75, maybe $100,000 donation. But when I was told that it was $30 million, I actually had a moment. I began to cry.
There were similar reactions around the country as Mackenzie Scott gave away more than $4 billion to 384 organizations. The ex-wife of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos said in a blog post she wanted to relieve both immediate suffering and long-term systemic inequities. This year alone, she's given away nearly $6 billion.
Why do you think she chose BMCC?
I think the data speaks for itself. Our students are determined, they're focused, they have grit.
Goodwill Industries of Michiana provides education training and job placement for its Indiana community. The mission received $10 million.
To have somebody who doesn't even know us, but to be able to take a look and see what we are doing, it's a validation.
$10 million also went to United Way in Sacramento, California.
It's going to mean that, children are going to have access to the tools they need to be successful in the classroom.
Charitable giving has surged during the pandemic, with many Americans donating generously to food banks and local charities. Scott says she's far from finished.
Thank you, Ms. Scott!
At the Borough of Manhattan Community College, students made a video to thank her for the donation.
Thank you, Mackenzie Scott.
Saying the gift will change their lives for years to come. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
At the time of her divorce, Scott's settlement was an estimated $38 billion. Well, turning back closer to home now, the Bridger Ski Foundation is celebrating the Highlight Ski Tour Festival through January 3rd. It's a week-long virtual, socially distant celebration of the ski trail in Highlight. The ski tour offers ski route recommendations, ski challenges, and an opportunity to enjoy and get outside and celebrate the holidays. Everyone is welcome to join the event, from beginners to experienced skiers.
We've put together some resources on our website. So we have trail maps and some suggestions of where to go. And we also are doing some photo contests so people can show us, what they're doing and highlight on social media.
Trails are groomed, but thin in a few spots until we get more snow. Bridger Ski Foundation says the event is made possible thanks to the help of the Friends of Highlight organization, as well as the Custer Gallatin National Forest.
Possibility by the middle of this week that we could put some snow into those areas.
Yeah?
Mountains looking like a possibility of some snow.
How much snow?
A couple inches maybe.
I mean, it's Montana.
Hey,
we never know, right?
It'll be perfect up there.
It'll be a
right?
surprise.
Highlight Reservoir is frozen solid, so.
Indeed.
There you go.
All right. Well, coming up here on Montana this morning, we've got more to get to. For most of the year, Americans have not been able to travel abroad. Even travel in the U.S. is restricted at times. So where did people go? The list of top destinations is coming up. But first, here's a look at what you'll see at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, nursing homes in 36 more states start giving out their first doses of the coronavirus vaccine while the pandemic rages out of control across the country. We'll talk to a member of President-elect Biden's Coronavirus Advisory Board. Plus, paying passengers will board the 737 MAX jet in the U.S. today for the first time in nearly 2 years. We'll show you the safety upgrades and hear why some people say the MAX should stay grounded. And see how service members and their families are being honored with wreaths made from pieces of military history. We'll see you at 7.